welcome to the pop-up, right?
Hey.
So we got our wonderful guest.
Yes, Jade Lambert in the house. How you doing? Good to be with you, Guy.
Great, nice to see you. So tell the people exactly who you are, what you do, what kind of business you're in.
Absolutely. I am an executive producer and visionary. I am the founder of Lambert Smith Media. We tell transformational stories mainly through the realm of theater, but I also moonlight as a storytelling coach, helping speakers, entrepreneurs, and artists show up with unshakable confidence in life, education, and business. I help them use stories to sell their products without being too salesy.
Too salesy. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So you teach people how to sell their product without being too salesy. What examples do you have? Because when you do it through storytelling, like how do you structure the storytelling?
Oh, I love that. Well, honestly, that actually depends on the person. But my basic storytelling framework is founded in authenticity. I have an authenticity framework called LAMOA. It stands for Living Authentically Method of Artistry. So many of the people that I coach who are attracted to me are trying to ditch the representative. They come out of corporate or they come out of other situations where they've shown up with a mask trying to make sure they fit in. So I help them erase that and show up as their authentic selves in every space. That's why I say life, education, and business. Right. And then that really helps them align their values with what they're selling so that they can fully be themselves. So one of the examples I use is that you could have 3 different salon owners, right? One group of people may go to a salon owner because in that salon, it's like it's a party and they're having a really good time and everybody's coming in there and they're drinking mimosas and getting their hair done. Someone else might go to a different salon and they're going there because it's like a spa experience and they want to lay back and chill, and that person is more soothing or might even be like a therapist. And then there's another person who goes to a salon that's going to get you in and out. It might feel more corporate, like you're networking. Each of those those hairstylists do hair equally well, but you're going because of the authentic way in which this person shows up and serves you. So I help people figure out what that is about them and how they developed into that kind of business owner, and make sure that that energy permeates their brand in every way, in person, online, and when they're working with their clients.
Gotcha. And what made you get into this thing?
So this is a funny story. So I'm a master storyteller. I've been telling stories since I was a kid. I'm an actor, I'm a director.
I can't tell stories, so hopefully you can teach me something.
I don't know. See, most people think that. They think they can't tell a story, and by the time they finish talking to me, they've told me 10, and I'm like, let me just tell you the 10 stories you just told me. So, I've been in the arts business for a while, and 20 years ago when I started straight out of college, I was actually working with, one of the jobs I had was teaching corporate employees how to have better sales using voice. So I've always been a voice and vocal coach, teaching people to be more dynamic in how they speak. And so I joined a mastermind that we are actually in together, 1% with Marcus Barney. And as a part of that, I actually started joining different masterminds. And so I went to a storytelling workshop. I didn't know that was it, but a person I follow was leading a storytelling workshop up in the Berkshires. And over the weekend, I don't know. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know that I got that much out of the workshop other than knowing that I already do this for free.
So you were doing it for free, and you realized that when you were
I didn't realize that businesses. I didn't know anything about story branding. I didn't realize about that this was a thing that entrepreneurs and businesses were trying to cultivate their story for sales. So go ahead.
Not to interject, but let me understand something. So whenever you're telling a story, is there always a beginning, middle, and end? And also, is there, like in your storytelling, is there like a problem that is solved or some solution that you see?
Yeah.
Every story, or
every story, if you want somebody to take action, yes. So the simple framework will be tell a story, you tell what you learned, and you tell what you want people to do with that information.
Gotcha.
Right? So the story that I tell when I'm working with most people, I'm going to give you the 30-second version. My children and I were at Universal Studios in the middle of COVID. We didn't know it was COVID. Why? Because we live in Georgia, and nobody in Georgia knew anything. And so the state shuts down. We come home, and I'm excited because I'm like, I've been working 80-hour weeks, and I say, God, thank you. This is the time I need to shut down. I know the rest of the world is scared, but I'm ready. Yeah. Long and the short of it is the next day I decided to walk 90 days straight, 3 miles every day. The day after,
90 days straight?
That was my decision.
Holy.
I decided to do that.
Okay.
So I came home and I started.
Sheesh.
I quit the next day.
I would have quit the first day too, I ain't gonna lie.
I started the day after that and walked 400 days straight. 400 days straight, 3 miles every day, rain, snow, sleet, or hail outside.
Time out, girl. Rain, sleet, hell, you were outside. Oh, you were
I was out
dedicated.
there. Sometimes I was out there at 10 p.m. at night. They know, right?
Okay.
And so what happened was towards the end of that period of time, I started talking about it online.
Right.
Well, no, let me back up. 90 days, after that 90 days passed, I had lost 30 pounds, but my clarity and relationship with my purpose was a completely different level, which is what inspired me to keep going. Towards the end of the year, I started talking about what I learned from my walking. And the next thing I knew, a bunch of people were communicating with me saying, hey,
Oh, wow.
you inspired me to go back to the gym. You inspired me to lose 20 pounds. And what I
Really?
learned is that people follow what you do, not what you
Not
say.
what you say. Got it.
And so I wanted to help people tell their stories and of their experiences so that they could help transform other lives.
Got it. Okay.
That's the impetus for that.
Now, has there ever been a situation or story that you've been hard? Well, not that you've been, but have you had a story where it was very difficult to articulate?
Yes, I deal with a lot of my clients are women, business owners who have a strong experience with overcoming adversity and trauma.
Got it.
And so often what we'll do, when I first started this work, I encourage them not to tell those stories at all because what you don't want to do is re-traumatize yourself in the name of a sale.
Okay. Got it.
Right? That doesn't make any sense. So what I try to do is focus on when we call overcome adversity stories, getting them to the victory and seeing the victory. And so then generally what happens by the end of the experience is they see how the experience they've been through led to their victory. They wouldn't be able to serve in the way they did or have the purpose they did because of it. But I've had one client who is still, just to be really transparent based on your question, who's still in the middle of the challenge. And we were never able to get her. She's dealing with being wrongly accused.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We were never able to get her to a place of feeling victory about that, and rightfully so, because there isn't a victory. Right. But what she did find was a sense of worthiness that she was lacking in the middle of when we first worked together. So that's, I think, inspired her in the middle of what she's gone through and also helped her show up online in a more powerful way.
Nice. So out of everything you have done thus far in life, is there any transformation that you have seen by your storytelling that lets you know or was confirmation that you should continue the path that you're on?
Absolutely. Everyone who works with me is a master at what they do, period. I'm not even ashamed to say that. Like, they walk away with unshakable confidence. They can walk into any room knowing who they are, who they serve. Right. But more importantly, they're not ashamed nor they don't have imposter syndrome about their opportunities for growth.
Okay.
Right. So many of us, we're almost drowned or overwhelmed by the things that make us feel like we're less than. Right. They accept that just as part of themselves, but they focus more on the thing that makes them amazing.
Gotcha. Now, was there any time that you ever wanted to quit the business?
Oh, today.
What made you want to quit today?
So, the reality is, like, the majority of the clients I get right now are referrals, and just what it requires to scale. It's like, I'm so busy doing the business. When can I market the business? So, like, coming right now, I'm in the middle of a rehearsal for my show that is premiering, which is an amazing storytelling experience, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But I had to choose to be here or there, right? But I made a commitment to myself to talk more about my business in spaces. Yes. Exactly. So it's like, how can there be 8 of me, which I know you align with as entrepreneurs? How can there be so many of me and get this done?
It's definitely hard to, as an entrepreneur, it's hard to, duplicate yourself. That's probably one of the things that everybody that I know struggle with, because it's like, I love what I do. So it's like, how do I hand it off and trust somebody that they're actually going to do what they're supposed to do? So tell us about the show that you have later on.
Cool. Yes. So as a storyteller on stage, Lambert Smith Media is producing a show called Mother of God.
Mother of God.
Yes.
Okay.
It tells the story of Mary of Nazareth. It tells the story of Jesus from the point of view of Mary of Nazareth, this young lady who decided to say yes to God and change the face of history. So most of us think of Mary as the woman who gave birth to Jesus, showed up at the cross, and maybe was at the cave. But we all deal with what happens in this minute when she says yes and all of a sudden puts her whole life in danger. Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah, and then she has to make sure that this young man or being has to make it into adulthood. It's a musical. It's amazing. It's written by this wonderful writing team, Christian Albright and Christian Magby. And it's our addition to the Atlanta holiday theater scene. So there are a lot of things people go see: Christmas Carol, Black Nativity. So Mother of God is our new opportunity for families to go and enjoy themselves.
Got it.
Now I want to try something with you. Is that okay?
All right. Ask me anything.
Yes. Okay, great. So I'm going to give you a little taste of my story coaching.
All right.
Is that cool?
Cool.
All right. Tell me what you do.
So I specialize in buying properties at tax sales.
Okay, you buy properties at tax sales.
So
And
tax
what got you
auctions.
into that?
What got me into it was me being broke. So I went and found a mentor that would teach me how to do it. And yeah, I went right up under him and did everything he said to do. And then I started to succeed after that.
Why that though? How did
So-
you know that was the thing?
No, I didn't know it was the thing. So I actually fell upon it because I was in the music industry before. So I was around a lot of celebrities, so on and so forth, right? And I went through like a crazy breakup, and then I was depressed. And then the girl that I was with at the time, even though she's, the mother of my children, she told me straight up, she was like, I want a man that actually makes money. So that motivated me a little bit. I'm like, what? I was like, how can you say that to me? That's so hurtful. So she said that to me or whatever. And I then went out, tried to start my own business or whatever. It failed. I had a credit card company and that failed. So I then went to a seminar with my aunt. My aunt was like, hey, just come with me. I know you're down and out. Let's go. I went with her. Once I went with her to the seminar, the guy there was like, hey, out of everything you guys take today, either if you buy or you don't, just make sure you go back home and actually ask somebody that's doing real estate how to get into real estate. So I took that one little bit of advice and actually implemented it, similar to what we do with the 1%, right? And next thing you know, that one decision changed everything because I went to the mentor that I know and I asked him, I was like, look, teach me how to do real estate. It doesn't cost you anything. He was like, I'll think about it. 5 minutes later, he's like, look, I know you work hard. You can come on board. And then that first week, I sold 7 properties, owner finance. So everybody's like, so yeah, 7 properties, owner financed. And after that, it's just been a wrap. I was motivated and kept it moving.
So after you sold those 7 properties, what
Yeah.
was the aha moment? Was it the money or just was it also you realized, what did you realize that you had within you that made you good at this?
Well, what I realized I had in me was that I was motivated. So how can I say this? Working a 9 to 5 is really difficult, right? So I had a 9 to 5. I was working and made like $10 an hour. And I realized, I'm like, well, if I work for 10 hours, I'm going to make $100. Or if I work 1 or 2 hours on real estate and actually do the steps and go to show these houses in XYZ, your base commission is probably like $2,000. So I did that and I locked up 7 properties, $2,000 each. And it was $14,000 at like a month and a half. So once I seen that, I said, oh, this thing works. And then I'm just, kept staying upon it. And then one day he came to me, he's like, look, I'm going to bring you to a sale. I'm going to show you how I buy the cheap properties. I'm like, cool, let's go. So I went and once he showed me the process of it, I seen people buying properties for like 400, 1,000, 2,000, 20,000, whatever the number was, but it was literally 10% of the base cost. So if a property is worth 100, I'm seeing these guys, the big competitors, they were buying stuff for like 10 grand, 20 grand. And I'm like, hold on, this is kind of different. So once I seen that, I said, all right, I'm going to stay here because I see where the money's going. But what I also noticed was there was not any minorities in the room as well. So my mentor at the time, he was like, hey, don't teach nobody this. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to teach anybody. That's what he said. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to teach anybody. But that stuck with me. And then, mind you, I bought my mom a brand new house. I did the fancy cars. I did all this stuff already, right? And then once I got married, actually, after I got divorced, I realized all of this. But I realized it was real selfish to just keep everything to myself. So I said, you know what? I don't see no black people in these like sales. I don't see no women, no nothing. I said, I'm just going to start teaching people because they need to know how to buy just like I'm buying. So I would have regretted, me personally, I think I would have regretted if I passed away and your legacy would have been kept to yourself. So that was my thing. So I bust out the window.
Yes, you did. And you just told 3 stories.
How I told 3 stories? What are you talking about?
So one, first you talked about the overcoming adversity of being in the music business and in reference to your ex-girl / baby mama and how that motivated you to do more. Right? There's a story in that, right? And also there's a piece in there about how you wanted to look to your children.
Yeah.
That you didn't talk about. but that's a part of
Yeah,
that story,
yeah, you're
right? So
actually
that's
right.
one whole story. Yes, it is, right? So then you showed your resilience by sharing that you started a business that failed already. So you're not lazy.
No.
Right. So most entrepreneurs who are successful have tried multiple things.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you shared that's another story right in there, right?
Listen, man.
You
Take my money now. Like we're gonna do some stories.
Right. So you have, and then you have a story of the importance of mentorship. And even though your mentor told you not to do something, you
Right.
decided to do what your mentor did because you realized your mentor did it for you and you wanted to do it for others.
Oh, well, exactly, but the satisfaction part of it was the mentor I'm talking about right now. He's about 65. Once I left away, because mind you, we parted ways. I became his biggest competitor in all of the entire state, and we were going like it. So it's a crazy story because when I tell this, they're like, "Nah." I'm telling you, when I broke away from him, like my life started flourishing because he was holding me back.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Another story. That was another story right there.
All right. Yeah, we got to talk about the story.
And see, these are all good because you're mentoring people to do what you do, right? And so ultimately, this is kind of a trickle down. They'll be mentoring, and the difference in you and your mentor is that you know there's enough for everyone.
Exactly. There's a ton out there.
Yes.
But
yes.
but the sad part is, again, there's no minorities, no women doing it, and it's one of the weirdest feelings, to be honest with you. Because I can show videos. Like I walk in the rooms, man, it's nothing, but they give me respect though. I don't know if it's because I'm in the room and I'm really buying a lot of properties, and they're like, "Who is this guy?" So it's kind of cool.
Well, I can't wait for you to change the face of everything. Thanks for letting me coach you a bit. Yeah,
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, guys, that was good. All right.
Thank you, everyone.